What's up, Dub Nation? Rich here with Dean of Positivity Chambers. Sorry I butchered that, Dean.
No, it's all good. Thank you, Rich.
And we're just getting this stuff warmed up right now. We're going to get Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. He's their NBA writer, and he has a pulse on the trade market. And that's what we're here to do. We already did a couple of previous live streams dedicated, one to Deki, one or more. So let's throw that up on the back screen. And this is the latest. I got to go there and like my own art. Has no likes. So let's do that. And then let's also like this video, people.
Yes,
there.
Please.
Hello, Tay. Hello, Nicole.
What's up, everybody?
Joel Embiid just scored 70 points, breaking the Sixers record held by Wilt Chamberlain. So Steph, not the only one breaking records held by Wilt over the last year. Pretty amazing. What was the one that Steph broke? Oh, all-time points with the franchise for the Warriors?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Was there anything last year?
Last year, minutes maybe, or games played. Most games played.
That might be it.
I mean, Wilt didn't play that long for the Warriors, so
yeah,
I don't remember.
I just remember Steph on the podium saying, "Anytime you're breaking a record held by Wilt, it's pretty amazing."
Yeah. That was probably the all-time franchise record for points. I mean.
Yep. Zap, what's up, Zap, and everybody else? Always wanted to go live with the 4 days off of no games, but then Deki passed, and now it feels like we're doing this more than games, which we are.
Yeah.
But we'll finally, so that's why this was scheduled. But our next game is Wednesday, and it's Monday, so I still got a couple days.
Oh man,
sorry, Arbel. Your Bills lost. What a game, though. That was all the games, right? The Niners, and then I didn't watch the Ravens one, but they took care of business. And then the Lions one, that one was close. And then the KC Bills one, that one was close. So that was like super exciting. 3 straight games at least this past weekend.
Yeah, I don't watch the NFL, so I don't know. But I hope your teams are advancing well. And,
we can see Arbel's comments, and I know YouTube can't. But Bruce, take it up with Arbel, man. That'd be awesome.
We'll put it up in the stream.
I'm gonna. Oh man.
Oh.
I wonder if StreamYard could like take a Twitch comment and then post it on YouTube. That would be neat. So we're just kind of passing the time right now, and I think when we get Brett on here, we'll go to this mode and have 3 of us.
Cool. All right.
We'll see. But we're gonna. My plan. I sent Dean the outline of the plan. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay. Deebo Samuel, by the way, sticking with the NFL, did not break his shoulder. No fracture. Thank goodness. Whew.
Yeah. He's a Niner, right?
Just rest against the Lions. I mean, obviously, knock on wood, but you have to have the confidence of that. But, like, this is one of those things like I'm sure we've been through some sort of injury thing, but like I would rather him just rest and be ready for the Super Bowl. But then, of course, then you're assuming you're winning. It sounds like I'm being arrogant, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to plan out his injury the best way. I think we can beat the Lions without Debo, but that's just me.
What position does he play?
Oh, wide receiver / running back.
Yeah,
that's
a lot
of games, huh? Oh yeah, they could always give him the needle and get some pain relief that way.
Yeah.
But then,
athletes, man,
aren't you more at risk of injuring it? Ravens no chance against the Chiefs. Look at Bruce. Really? I would almost say the Ravens are the best team in the NFL, and that's speaking as a Niners fan. Let's go. Speaking of injuries, by the way, Moses Moody will be reevaluated in one more week. So that was the greatest. So Moody to be reevaluated in one more week. GP2, 2 more weeks. So Moody will miss 3 more games. I think GP2, I think it was like, did I see like 7 more games or something like that? I don't know, but 2 more weeks before reevaluation.
Well, that's right around the trade deadline for GP2, right?
Yeah, and we got about 7 to 10 more minutes before Brett Siegel comes on, but that's when we talk about trade stuff, and we're going to ask him what is he hearing in regards to the Warriors. How tradable is Wiggs? How tradable is Chris Paul? And then the list gets unlikelier and unlikelier after that. JK, Moody, Klay, Draymond, right? You got to ask, even though we already know the answer. But it's good to get somebody from a different perspective. And then who are we targeting, perhaps? The names that have been thrown around. Kuzma, Levine, obviously, Markkanen. But even though, we can ask him about how likely that is.
Murray, yeah.
Dejounte Murray. Any teams interested in our guys, if any? There was Sam Amico, former Cleveland beat writer, said that Cleveland was looking at Wiggins, but it could be just part of the whole chatter. Don't know if there's anything concrete, and that's where Brett Siegel comes in, because you look at his timeline on Twitter, he's got good connections. Let's take a look, actually.
Bruce is saying Cat has 62. How much time is left?
Oh, that is.
We have 2 guys getting 140 points in one
night. And they're big men.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? Here's Brett Siegel.
Yeah.
So there he is. Sources: Knicks and Lakers continue to try to get Bruce Brown. Lakers have also continued interest in Murray. Oh, hey, he reposted us. Check that out. Thank you. Oh, let's go. Now I got to retweet that guy.
Yeah. Very cool.
Where you at, man? I got to do that on my phone here. See if he pops in. Let me know if he pops into the green room over there.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Somebody
says 3:53 left to go.
Oh, nice. We got a random guy on Twitter said he's going to be there. So welcome, Manny. Manny, if you're on, welcome. We're expecting Brett at 7:15, 4 more minutes from now.
Okay. Cool.
And we look at some other of his stuff. Somebody on Twitter was like, at halftime, Karl Anthony Towns had like 40-something points, and guess what his true shooting percentage was, Dean?
120.
100.5. What does that mean exactly, Dean?
So it's how 3-pointers are worth more than twos if you
Mm-hmm.
convert them into twos. So if you hit 1 out of 1 3, you're shooting 150%.
Got it.
So it's just that's how it happens. I don't love true shooting percentage because they do something weird with the free throws. It's like times 0.4. Let's just make it half. I don't know. Just
Right.
for every 2 free throws you hit, that's 1 field goal, 2-point field goal, and then 1.5 for a 3-pointer.
When they say true shooting percentage, it gets you to think like, okay, I'm going to shoot this ball, and it's going to either go in or out, and then when it goes in, it's going to be X amount of points. I mean, so what is the abstraction of that true shooting percentage? Karl Anthony Towns is shooting 100%, 100.5% at halftime. Yeah. That means that if he shoots a shot and he makes it, then it's, what does that mean?
It's just
by that.
So it's just it's like effective field goal percentage, but they're adding in free throw shooting.
Right.
Okay. So if you shot 75% from the field, but 50% from the line, I don't know what that would be, but
gotcha.
It would bring down your true shooting percentage. So it would show like for every scoring opportunity how hot you are shooting the ball.
There you go. How hot
but the equation I think is a little too complex for my taste. Look, all these advanced stats, almost all of them are just crunching the box score and using different equations.
Yep.
So it's all still based on just the box score anyway. You're not like for the most. There are some very advanced things that do other things, but for the most part, a lot of them aren't using new stats. They're just repackaging the stats you're already looking at in an algorithm. Yeah.
Yep.
At least that's what I think. I could be wrong about that, of course, but that's what I.
Says Cat made 10 threes. Oh my goodness. 10 for 14.
He's shooting 71%.
Oh, 353 to go in the game.
And 71% from the line.
Oh, we got Brett in the green room. Hang tight, Brett, while I
can't even see him.
In this note. Cat has 10 threes on 14 threes. That's nuts.
My goodness.
All right, guys, we're going to get Brett Siegel in here. And here he is. What's up, Brett?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Oh, welcome. Appreciate you, man. So any quick thoughts on Joel Embiid hitting 70 and Cat currently at 62 points real quick? Crazy night.
I mean, it's crazy night, right? I mean, that's just insane numbers for some of those guys. And for Joel Embiid, I mean, that pretty much cements his status in my mind as the MVP this season. You look at what he did against Jokic the other night. They have a rematch coming up over the weekend. I think this has been just an excellent week of basketball. And obviously these performances on a Monday night, it just sets the stage for what's to come the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's great. It's
great.
I think why don't we get a quick little, like 1 minute bio from you, Brett? How did you end up at Clutch Points doing what you're doing and all that?
Yeah, so the path was never to go into media, actually. I always wanted to go into basketball coaching and basketball operations. And obviously, with many people in the same boat, things changed when the pandemic came around. And so got involved with media, and from there just kept building relationships in the industry with different coaching staffs, different media members, agencies, team personnel. And from there, just kind of worked my way up. I was with Sports Illustrated branch last year, one of their Fan Nation websites. And now I've been with Clutch Points for close to a year, and we're continuing to build our brand there. And Clutch Points has gone from a place that's just known for their graphics to being a real life and real intel place. So I'm really happy to say that I've been a big part of that, and I'm happy to continue building the platform that we have over there.
All right, great. Are you going to be credentialed at any games coming up?
Yeah, so whenever I want to try to get my way to a game, I can. I'm close to New York City, close to Philadelphia. Obviously, the Bay Area is a little bit of a stretch for me. I have to be out that way if we're going to catch a Warriors game. But in terms of Summer League, I'm always out there. And All-Star game this year, I won't be there. So it's going to be interesting from here on out of how the rest of the season plays out. And whether I'm there or not, I'm sure that we're going to see some great basketball.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. All right.
Can I add something real quick, Rich?
Yeah, Dean, go ahead.
How old are you, Brett?
Oh,
I'm going to be turning 26 at the middle of February, actually.
Very cool. What's the first finals that you remember watching?
Ooh, that's a good question. I
like to ask everybody this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one. Let me ponder that. Ask me at the end of our segment here, and I'll have an answer on that because I actually got to think about that one.
All right, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank
ready?
you, Rich.
So, Brett, what are you hearing? Anything about the Warriors? Anything whatsoever?
So it's been kind of quiet, and I think that we all know the reason why they've been off lately due to the death of one of their assistant coaches, and it's been a gloomy time for the Warriors. I mean, he meant a lot to this organization. You saw Steve Kerr today in his press conference, and Kevon Looney and Dario didn't even want to talk because he wasn't ready to talk about it yet. So it's definitely been something that has loomed large over the Warriors, and in terms of a front office perspective, the timing of it is really worrisome because you have the trade deadline coming up. This team was at a point where the edge of the cliff was near, and we've seen it throughout the entire season where the Warriors, it looks like that they take one step forward, it's two steps backwards, and they can never consistently build momentum. Steph Curry's been out there alone on offense at times. Klay Thompson hasn't looked like his all-star self that we know him to be. We obviously know everything that's gone on with Draymond this season and all the aftermath of that. It's still, in my opinion, stemming from everything that happened with Jordan Poole in the preseason last year. So it's just one thing continues to pile up and the snowball effect, and everything gets placed on the shoulders of Mike Dunleavy Jr. So I think that if you're the Warriors, you have to kind of have the mindset of everything's available at this trade deadline. Other than Steph and Curry, if the right deal comes your way for any of your players and it's going to set you up for a lot of future success, you really got to consider it. From what I have been told, though, they're not considering trading Draymond Green. They're not considering trading Klay Thompson, and they would really like to keep Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody as well. If the right deal comes their way, they are open to dealing those guys as well as some of their draft picks. But the right deal seemed to already go out the window. They were really in on Pascal Siakam. They really like Siakam, and they were willing to make that trade even if Siakam was going to become a free agent in the offseason. Ultimately, he gets dealt to the Indiana Pacers. Really? So now the question becomes, who is the Warriors going to pivot to? Will they look to use Wiggins and Gary Payton in a deal? Will they look to potentially move Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga for some rotational pieces? It's yet to be seen, and the market really doesn't work out in their favor right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. And a lot of that is, it's good to just hear your perspective because we're literally living and breathing Warrior stuff all the time, every day. So sometimes it can get a little myopic, and it's good to have a guy that covers the entire NBA to kind of reinforce what we know. So yeah, all of those things you just said, especially the JK and Moody thing, where there was, I think it was from Ed Kareen out of Toronto for The Athletic, had mentioned that the Warriors weren't interested in moving JK or Moody for Siakam. And a lot of us were kind of, because, you grow when you grow attached to your guys when you cover the team so closely. And so we kind of breathed a sigh of relief, even though we're still 18 and 22. You know what I mean? So it's good to kind of get that reinforcement. All right. So are you hearing any guys that other teams might be interested that are Warriors, such as Wiggins or CP?
So the market's slim right now. In terms of Wiggins, I haven't heard of any team specifically as in they want to target Wiggins and they want to make a deal with the Warriors. I haven't heard any of that. It's more the Warriors feeling out, okay, we have Wiggins, we have his contract. What could possibly be there for us? And it's evaluating those options. Obviously, Pascal Siakam's contract lined up nicely there. That's not the case anymore with him being in Indiana. So you look down the line at some of their other contracts. Chris Paul's deal is very lucrative, not only to the Warriors in terms of the second apron and freeing up cap space in the offseason, but other teams as well, other playoff contending teams who could want to open up cap space in the offseason. That's a contract that you could either opt into and trade him in the offseason, or you can simply waive him and save $30 million there against the cap. So definitely one of those contracts that we talk about in league conversations and text change of, hey, a guy like that is somebody that you don't necessarily need to keep long-term. You can take him for the short term, move him for assets. And it's kind of the same conversation going on right now with Bruce Brown. You could rent him for the rest of the season with the Raptors. And then all of a sudden he's got that team option in the offseason. You could flip him for a guy on a 4-year contract if you wanted to. You could flip him for an all-star if you're a team like the Raptors or whoever may trade for Bruce Brown at this deadline. So I think that's kind of where we're looking at with Chris Paul right now. Obviously, with him being injured, it affects his value a little bit in terms of teams that would want him to play right away. But again, we're simply looking at this contract as being the asset at this point. In terms of teams that are looking to trade for him, it's just like the Wiggins situation. It's more of, this is what the Warriors have. This is what Mike Dunleavy Jr. is out there looking to do. And it's just kind of, it's like fishing in a way where you throw the line out there and you see what you can get to take the bait. And it's just seeing what you can get at this point, because the Warriors aren't really in a position to negotiate and have things work out in their favor. They're the team paying the most in salaries this season. They're going to be paying a lot of taxes moving forward. You have Klay Thompson becoming a free agent. You just gave that big deal to Draymond Green, and he hasn't been on the court and performing this season. So it's really a catch-22 at this point with the Warriors. You got to kind of take what's there.
I think also the fact that if we're over the second apron next season, we can't aggregate trades just puts a whole nother level of pressure, right? I do want to ask if the Warriors, I know that Siakam got traded to the Pacers now, but and you said that the Warriors were okay with like a rental, but if they had traded for him, would they have been willing to sign that max contract? Do you know? As far as I know,
they were comfortable keeping him short term. But if the opportunity came their way, I could see them keeping Pascal Siakam as a long term piece. There was really no word of that, simply because that's something that they would keep in house, and it's something that if it got leaked and you got all those tampering stuff. So I don't know personally if that was actually something that the front office was going to do, but I don't really see a scenario where they would have given up all these assets and all these first round picks if they didn't have at least the intention of wanting to keep him long term. He's represented by Todd Ramasar, same agent as Kevon Looney. I would expect that something probably would have gotten done there. But again, it's one of those what if scenarios that we could talk about for days in the NBA, similar to Kevin Durant staying with the Warriors, or even Kevin Durant's big toe being on the line when he was with the Brooklyn Nets.
Right. Because it looks like he's going to get around $50 million a year. So the willingness to have a second $50 million contract next to Steph, I think that's the willingness to consider that at least is kind of interesting, shows that they're still
and it would have fallen It would have fallen in that territory where you have Wiggins under contract long term. If you move his contract, it eases things a little bit. Still, it's a lot of money to be taking back. You would hope that Klay Thompson would potentially take a discount on his new deal. Obviously, you wouldn't have Chris Paul. So they could have made the financials of this trade work. Potentially, you move Gary Payton either this season or in the offseason.
I understand. It's just the commitment that would have required. Tells me that they still are willing to invest in the final years of Steph Curry's career, obviously. But as you said, it didn't happen.
Yeah, Joe Lacob wants to keep this team a championship contender. He's made it clear that money's not going to be an issue. And while they can save costs here and there, and they will take steps to do that, as we have already seen with the Jordan Poole trade this past offseason, they want to remain a contender. And this team is in a position where they can still contend in the West, even though things aren't looking good right now. As long as you have Steph and Curry and you have those guys that have won 4 championships, the belief in this organization is that they have enough to contend.
Absolutely.
Yep. Let's look at some possible targets that have been, thrown out there. Let's just go down the list real quick. The 4 most obvious ones are Kuzma, LaVine, Dejounte Murray, and Markkanen. Those are the 4 biggest names that would probably, dominate any NBA team's chat room. So go ahead and let's knock those 4 off right away.
So I wouldn't think that LaVine is an option. I don't see that really being a fit both on the court and financially, as we said. And obviously, we just talked about how that would be a big commitment to Siakam if they had gotten him. So what's the difference with LaVine? Well, you have the product on the court, you have the fit, and then you have the contract size. Siakam would have fit. He would have filled a need for them, and they would have been in a really good position with him. LaVine, he's going to take up space, take up minutes, take up shots from guys like Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry. Can he really play off the ball with those guys? Will he be a facilitator? That role is just really unknown for me to buy into the fact that they would actually pursue him. So I'm going to go ahead and just rule out Zach LaVine. I haven't really heard of any teams really in on him. If you want my personal preference, I think that the Sacramento Kings should pursue him simply because you look at the Kings, they need help. They need scoring help next to Fox and Sabonis. They're not going to be a team that's really going to be able to lure free agents in the offseason. So why not go out and get LaVine? So that's my take there. As far as Lauri Markkanen, I think that would be a dream acquisition for the Warriors. I think that based on his contract size, his fit at the power forward position, he could play out on the wing. You can even have Draymond, Looney, and Markkanen all out on the floor together. So I think that would be a home run acquisition for Mike Dunleavy Jr. in this front office. I just don't see the Jazz giving him up. They've been in a position where they've been open to receiving offers, and teams say to them, hey, what do you want for Markkanen? And it's kind of like fantasy football where it's like, hey, what are you going to give up for him? So they're not in a position where they're going to be looking to deal Markkanen ahead of this trade deadline. I would be absolutely shocked if he's not in a Utah Jazz uniform long term. There's been talk of them possibly giving him a similar extension of what they did with Jordan Clarkson, where it's one of those you give up half your salary and they extend him the 3-4 years, whatever it is there. So in terms of him going to the Warriors, dream scenario, I just don't see it playing out at this time.
Yeah, I think it's completely off the table, this trade deadline. The Jazz are hot. He's playing really well. They want more value for him. So that's not happening this year for sure, I think.
What about
Kuzma?
Kuzma and then Dejounte.
So let's start with Kuzma. So the Washington Wizards made it clear a few weeks ago, I reported it on Clutch Points, that they are looking for multiple first-round picks for Kyle Kuzma, and that's non-negotiable for them right now. They view him as a long-term building block. He's been really good to their organization throughout this process, even with Bradley Beal last year, and now this year he's been the leader of their team. He's shown growth as a facilitator and playmaker. They're not just going to willingly give him up as a seller for a first-round pick and a young player. This is a guy that they're going to want at least 2 first-round picks, probably a pick swap on top of that, plus a young player and a rotational player at best. So in terms of the Warriors, you would have to probably give up Andrew Wiggins. You'd probably have to give up Jonathan Kuminga, maybe even Moses Moody as well, as along with draft picks. I don't see the Warriors really doing that for a player like Kuzma, because does he really move the needle compared to a player like Wiggins? Yes, Wiggins has had his struggles, but when you look at what he did in 2022 when they won the championship, he was instrumental on both ends of the floor. He was arguably their second best rebounder next to Kevon Looney, maybe their best rebounder in the NBA Finals at times. So can he still rekindle that type of flame? I think he can. I think it's just a confidence thing with Wiggins right now, and everybody just kind of getting on him and bunching on him with all the problems the Warriors have had. So I don't really see Kuzma being a fit in terms of being an improvement for this team, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, totally. We're thinking the same thing, and it's funny because when you have to deal with fans, the outrage bunch, that's why it's so good to have someone like you come on here every now and then to just remind the fan base that, hello, they're still thinking what we try and preach to everybody, which is, hey, don't forget what Wiggins did, and by the way, we haven't given up on him, because it's not like we're playing NBA 2K and you can just give up on a player algorithm and just mix and match just instantly like that. There's this huge thing called the human element, and it even goes back to like Steve Kerr, when everybody's just wanting to fire Steve and all that. The one guy that believes in Wiggins is Steve Kerr, and he's doing whatever he can from a mental standpoint to get Wiggs back to that point, rather than just giving up on him and giving all the minutes to somebody else, for example. So again, great to have you on here. All right, so let's go to the last big name out there, which is Dejounte Murray. So what have you been hearing about him?
Yeah, so he has a pretty vast market. There's teams out there like the Knicks and Lakers that have already been connected to him. We've heard the Warriors in some rumors. The Spurs have been mentioned as a team there with a potential reunion. So I would say that there's probably 6 to 7 teams out there right now that are interested in Murray's services. It's going to come down to a bidding war, and the Hawks are open to moving him. It's going to come down to who's willing to give up the most. I would even throw 2 dark horse teams out there. I would throw the Toronto Raptors out there as a dark horse team to watch for Murray. They've been interested in him in the past. They could use another point guard, another guard next to Emmanuel quickly. You could escalate this, rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it, have him next to Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett, and they have the cap flexibility to do it with Bruce Brown's contract. So that's a potential landing spot there. Do I think it's likely? Probably not, but just something to keep an eye on. And then the Orlando Magic are always a team that is quiet. You never really know what's going on with the Magic because out of all the front offices in the league, that's maybe the one that talks the least bit. So if you're getting any kind of intel from the Magic, it's most likely from teams outside of Orlando, guys that have talked to them, agents that are associated with those players on the Magic. So just hearing stuff through the grapevine with the Magic, they're open to moving Wendell Carter and Markelle Fultz, but they're going to want something in return. This is a team that is in contention in the Eastern Conference for a playoff spot. They're most likely going to end their playoff drought, and they don't really have a reason to want to give up any of their young guys. So could they potentially be a buyer for a player like Dejounte Murray? They need a point guard. They have the contracts to move. They have the draft picks. So I could realistically see that. I think that they're going to land maybe a different player, a different point guard, maybe somebody that's more of a veteran at this point. But I think that Dejounte Murray could help them a lot, especially given his two-way play. Pertaining to the Warriors now, if you're going after Dejounte Murray, probably going to have to give up Chris Paul because why would you keep Paul and have Murray as well and have just that logjam at the backcourt? You would bring in Murray. He'd probably be your point guard. You'd have Steph as your 2. You'd have Klay Thompson at the 3. And now the question becomes, is Wiggins going to be on the move there? You wouldn't have to give up Paul and Wiggins, but is there another trade that you would now make to kind of free up some cap space? Maybe a player like DeAndre Hunter who costs a little bit less from the Hawks, but he can still give you that two-way presence that Wiggins gave you. So I think that there's options for the Warriors to pursue here with a player like Dejounte Murray, but that is a lot of cap space for them to eat up over the next few years if they were to go after him. Because Murray, while he's only making, I believe it's like $18.2 million this season, his contract increases with that veteran extension he just signed in the offseason. He's going to be owed $90 million over the next 4 seasons past this year. So is that a contract that the Warriors would want to commit to? I tend to think that this organization is thinking more short-term, more shorter-term contracts and better fits right now that can help them contend for a championship this season and then open up a little bit of cap flexibility for options in the offseason.
That's awesome, Brett. That's awesome. I appreciate your work. I know that you had the intel on Lakers and Knicks with Dejounte Murray, and now you're mentioning the Magic keep quiet. You know, we've heard, obviously, it comes as no surprise to the average fan that Masai Ujiri is one guy that you can never tell what he's going to do, right? So we've actually heard that from a player agent, like literally telling us that. Everybody in the chat lately has been going, what about Mikal Bridges? Mikal Bridges. So, all right, fine. Brett, please tell
it was Mikal Bridges and Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, was the proposal.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Thanks for keeping an eye on that.
I can't. Who was it for? It was for Wiggins and Kuminga.
I don't know. What are these guys?
Like, they got it from another podcast.
Let's let Brett.
The Twitter GMs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
go ahead, Brett. What is Mikal Bridges even acquirable?
So short-term answer is no. He's in the same boat as Lauri Markkanen, where, yeah, you can come at the Nets with an offer, but they're most likely going to say no unless it's one of these Rudy Gobert-sized packages that you just can't turn down. I mean, in my opinion, it would take at least 3 first-round picks to lure Mikal Bridges away from the Nets. That's how highly they view him. They think that he's going to be an all-star in this league for many years to come and a player that they can build around and potentially acquire another star either this coming offseason or next season to pair with Bridges and make another resurgence in the Eastern Conference. So in terms of Bridges being available, I do not see that being an option at this trade deadline. Now, the Nets do have pieces available. Dorian Finney-Smith has multiple suitors around the league. He's a guy that still has multiple years left on his contract, a very feasible contract that can be acquired for like $13-14 million type players. So I think that he's a player that can fill a lot of gaps for many playoff contending teams. You look at a veteran like Royce O'Neal, who's making $9.7 million this season, another very acquirable player in the final year of his contract, 3-and-D wing. He's been a part of 1 season with the Utah Jazz. I think that he's a player that a lot of teams are going to take a good look at, maybe a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers even, who have been rumored to be looking for a veteran wing. And then even a player like Spencer Dinwiddie, final year of his contract, making $20 million. He's had his struggles this season, but he's turned it on as of late. I think that Dinwiddie's going to have suitors as well. And I think that the Nets, while they may be looking to buy talent and pair him with Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, I think it's more likely that you see them give up some of these veterans in order to make a run at a bigger name come time for the offseason or next season.
And build around Bridges. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Who was the second guy you mentioned? There was DFS.
Royce O'Neal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, my guy from Utah. Yeah, I'm from Utah, so watch a lot of him. Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of some of these wings, I've always felt the Warriors could use an extra wing. I don't know how you'd fit it into the salary cap table that they have, but any wings out there that the Warriors might want to get?
Again, it depends on what they're willing to give up. If they're willing to give up Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Gary Payton, I think that there's smaller contract options out there, and they could potentially bring back a few draft pay. Like, let's say they were going to give up Jonathan Kuminga, for example, and they weren't going to go after a big guy. I think that there's a possibility, and it's just hypothetical thinking here. There's no reporting attached to it. Let's say a guy like Royce O'Neal, for example, just that type of contract size. If you wanted a guy like Royce O'Neal, you could give up Kuminga and potentially get O'Neal and a second-round pick or two back in return simply because Kuminga holds more value. So I think it really depends on what the Warriors are willing to give up at this point of who's going to be available and who really fits in with them, because you still have Wiggins on the wing as well.
I have two questions, if you don't mind, Rich.
First,
why do you think the Warriors?
Brett doesn't mind.
I want
to remind everybody. Okay, so we're here with Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. He does their NBA kind of what would you say? I mean, he's got a pulse on the with all the front offices, right, Brett?
That's correct.
All right, so plain and simple, we're here with Brett Siegel.
Insider.
And when I contacted you, Brett, you're never quite sure if you're like pressed for time or you're available to speak a little bit and get your name out there at the same time. So I really appreciate the fact that obviously you've gone above and beyond what we thought we might be able to get tonight. So really appreciative of your generosity. So we got these two questions from Dean, and then I think we'll let you go at that point. But go ahead, Brett. What were the questions again, Dean?
I didn't say them yet.
Oh,
sorry. The first was why do you think the Warriors would want to trade Kuminga, especially being under the rookie contract? And the second is what would you think about Bojan Bogdanovic for this team?
So I think that to answer the first question, why would you want to trade Jonathan Kuminga? It's a good question because he is on that rookie deal. He still has another year left on his contract. And we've seen this season, he's stepped up numerous times and he's looked like one of their better players on the court on both ends of the court. So the biggest reason to me is that there's a hesitancy to play him alongside Andrew Wiggins. Why? I don't know. And that's a question that they would have to answer internally, and the coaching staff, maybe they see it differently with the way that they play. I personally think that Kuminga and Wiggins can play together. I think that would be a dynamic forward wing pair, especially if you look to push the pace. And I know that the Warriors have wanted to slow down in the past because of all the turnover problems that they've had. But when you look at the most successful teams that the Warriors have had, they've played fast and they've been turnover prone. It's just you got to play devil's advocate there. So I think that if you put Kuminga out there, you lose a little bit of shooting, but you can really push the pace. He's a really good rebounder. I think it can work out. So why would you trade him? I think it comes down to two things. One, the unwillingness to pair with Andrew Wiggins. And the second thing is that he's going to be entering the final year of his rookie deal next year. And do you really see him as a player that you want to invest $20+ million in long term? Because you're going to have Curry still on his max deal. Draymond is still going to have his $100 million contract. You're going to have whatever deal and whatever extension you sign with Klay this coming off season. Looney is a guy that they never really want to give up, so you're going to have to pay him eventually. It's just all these pieces that the Warriors have that money is eventually going to become a problem. And Joe Lacob is willing to spend. This is a team that's always around the number one spot in terms of salaries in the league. But at the end of the day, there is a cap. And now there's a very hard second apron and all those penalties that come along with it. So if you're going to keep Kuminga, someone else is going to have to go. And if you don't have an answer on who that someone else is, maybe it's best to just trade Kuminga and get some of these short-term contracts now.
Okay. And then, sorry, just real quick on Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah, so Bojan Bogdanovic, it really depends on who you ask, because the Pistons play hardball with it. They don't want to give him up, but when you ask guys around the league and other teams, they've had conversations with the Pistons, and the Pistons have been willing to negotiate. So I think that there's a possibility that he could get moved at the deadline. Would I bank on it and push all the chips in on it? No, I wouldn't. I do think that they value Bogdanovic, and I think that it's more of a scenario that they'll look to move him in the offseason, given his favorable contract and what he can do. Why the Pistons are looking to buy at this point, I don't have an answer to that. This is a 4-win team. They're going to be in contention for the number 1 draft pick. Yeah, he's the best player on the worst team in the league, or one of the best players on the worst team in the league. You can get a lot of value for him now, but at the same time, because he is under contract, that value is going to exist in the offseason. So maybe it is worth keeping them around, seeing what this young group can do over the second half of the season. You had that losing streak. You had the losing woes the first half. That's behind them. They know that they're not in contention for the playoffs, so maybe we'll see the Pistons lighten things up. They'll play more looser. They'll move maybe a few guys and get some of these younger guys a little bit more playing time. And then when Cade Cunningham's healthy, maybe you go out and get another player to pair with him, and all of a sudden the Pistons are a rising team in the East, kind of like what we saw with the Magic this season. So I think that's still a possibility for them to be good. I do not personally think that they are the worst team in the league. I think that they've had some close losses, and they're just a young team that is going through growing pains right now, and that's kind of what it takes. So Warriors fans can attest to that. They've seen some really dark times through the years of losing teams in Warriors land before they won the championship. So it takes time to really build a dynasty, and it takes time to build a really good contending team in this league.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Thanks, Brett.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you just two quick ones, and they're like, you can just answer them really quickly. How much do you think the Warriors will sign Klay to, assuming Klay comes back? And we're getting all indications that he will. You know, his dad will tweet that, oh, he's a Warrior, don't worry about it, guys. And then the second thing is that just a week ago, all the local Warriors media was saying, oh, I'd be shocked if Wiggs will be in a Warriors uniform after the trade deadline. So those two questions: how much do you think Klay is going to get this offseason, assuming he comes back to the Warriors? And then secondly, do you now today see Wiggs as a Warrior after the deadline?
Yeah, the Warriors are going to want Klay to take a discount, not only because of the product on the court, but because Draymond took a slight discount, and because that's just the nature of the business now. He's older. They paid Wiggins, they paid Poole, and they had to move Poole's contract. And with the second apron, you can't afford to pay him like Steph and Curry, especially when those numbers aren't the same. So he's making $43 million this season. I would expect him to be in the range of Draymond or Wiggins' contract, in that 20 to 25 million per year range. If Klay's willing to accept less for the Warriors, more power to him. But I really think that's kind of going to be the range that the Warriors are going to stick to. If Klay wants more than that, maybe the Warriors would be willing to give him it, just because he's a veteran that's been around this organization for a while. But I really don't see them going past 25 million. Just from a front office perspective, I don't think that they can afford to go past 25 million at this point and still be a real contender if they keep him on a 3 to 4 year contract. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with Klay. As far as Wiggins goes, those conversations of him possibly being on the move, that was when they were all in to try to pursue Pascal Siakam. And they had gained momentum there. They were in talks with the Raptors. Ultimately, the Raptors were getting more value from the Pacers and saw an opportunity to capture some value that they could flip for more assets. And we've seen the conversations and rumors pop up with Bruce Brown lately. So that trade is still ongoing, in my opinion, of trading Pascal Siakam to the Pacers. It really depends on the kind of value that they get for those draft picks and what they can get for Bruce Brown, either right now or in the offseason. So that trade is not complete in terms of its fulfillment to the Raptors. They still have time to build it out. The Warriors, they weren't willing to give up Kuminga, and they weren't really willing to move a lot of their first-round draft capital that they have left. So that's ultimately where things fell apart.
Awesome, Brett. Anytime we can help you out, just let me know, because man, you are really polished in front of the camera. I gotta say, man, I see a really good path for you going forward as an NBA insider. So best wishes to you and Clutch Points out there. So thank you so much.
I definitely appreciate it. And to answer your question, Dean, 2007. That's the earliest one I can remember.
Cavs
with
versus
the Spurs and Tony Parker.
Spurs,
I believe he was the Finals MVP that year. So
Yeah.
that's definitely probably the earliest one that I can remember. I remember the champions here and there, but in terms of actually watching and understanding it, that's probably the earliest one for me.
Very cool. Great one. Thank you so much.
All right, Brett.
Yeah,
looking forward to as this trade deadline comes around. Looking forward to seeing all your articles and stuff. So, best wishes coming up. It's going to be.
Appreciate it. We've entered that time of no sleep over the next 2 weeks, so it should be interesting.
Oh man! All right. Thank you so much, Brett. Take care.
Appreciate
it. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Wow, what a great guy.
Yeah.
That 45 minutes flew past, man.
Yeah. You're always, the more we get him on here, the better feeling I'll get of not feeling too guilty of having taken up too much of his time. But that was just super.
Oh, it was perfect. Thank you, man.
That was awesome. Okay, so some of you guys wanted to talk about stuff. First off, I appreciate Nicole saying, "Oh, Rich, I liked your Brett Brown." I'm saying Brett Brown because Embiid scored 70 and Brett Brown was in the house. His former coach was there, so they showed them on the court post game talking, and I thought that was great that Brett Brown, the old Sixers coach, got to see Embiid scored 70, but it was Bruce Brown. So we figured out that Bruce Brown cannot be aggregated in a deal because he just got traded. So it would have to be pretty much the same salary. And I don't know that they'd want to do Wiggs for Bruce Brown straight up is probably not what the Raptors are looking to do, right? So you look at our it's on the Hawks. That's interesting. Bruce Brown is with the Toronto Raptors right now. Let's see if he's on there yet. $22 million. So you'd have to pretty much be a straight up trade for him. And Wiggins is $24 million. So you can't go Chris Paul for Bruce Brown and Otto Porter. You can't do that. Unfortunately,
you can't aggregate his contract with anyone else because he just signed a contract and then got traded the same year, right? I'm pretty sure that's how the rules work. I didn't know there was rules against aggregation before next year, though.
Yeah, I forget where I saw it, but it was one of those reliable journalists on Twitter.
I looked at it; it was everywhere. Yeah. Everybody was saying that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, yeah. Unfortunately, but who knows? Maybe Masai gets no other better offers. But then I think I would still stick with Wiggins at this point because man, he can jump out of the gym still, and he's right now he's a one-way wing because his offense is suspect, but he's a 1.5 way wing. And he's this close to being a two-way wing again. So
yeah,
he's probably better than any other acquisition we can get out there. DeAndre Hunter included, right? I'd rather take, the ceiling of Wiggs than the ceiling of DeAndre Hunter. So what if we didn't do anything at the trade?
Yeah, that's what Dejan is saying.
Yeah.
It says right now I'm leading more on not making any trades. We're going to lose long-term assets for short-term assets that don't move the needle. But having said that, a good deal is a good deal. So go, Mike.
And also, because of today's, I mentioned this to Dean before we got on the camera, but because of today's Steve Kerr, okay, so Steve went on the podium today. One of the things that nobody reported on, or hardly anybody reported on, was that Dario Saric has been playing a tremendous role right now. The moment Deki was in the hospital, Saric was doing whatever he can to comfort Deki's family. He's still doing that right now. Therefore, we can't trade that. That would be inhumane to trade Dario Saric. So That's not happening, right? So the any trade scenarios that you have involving Saric, no, that's not happening.
Yeah,
just from a human standpoint. Of course, I could be wrong tomorrow, but then I'd be like, wow, I'd be shocked. But anyways, let's go through the comments. By the way, Boyan in the house. Boyan sent us some Instagram clips of Deki's right here, of Deki's tribute in Serbia today. It happened today, and it was pretty awesome. Tribute video here. After the video, they had flares in the stands, and they started going Milojevic, Dejan, and it was just incredible. The passion of the fans, basketball fans in Serbia. But then I was also told in the comments that it's all over Europe, that they cheer like this and they go nuts. So that's pretty cool to see and to hear today, and also from Steve Kerr. So there's that little item there. So yeah. So no trade, huh? Is now that's what we're thinking now.
Real quick, I don't think I'm being sentimental thinking that Dejan has a real chance because of the international career, winning a championship as the Warriors' assistant coach, of making the Hall of Fame. I mean,
yep.
As a development coach, as a player in Europe, as a Warriors assistant.
Go look at his resume; it's unbelievable.
Yeah, all those MVPs and everything like that. I think he really could be a Hall of Famer. Definitely.
Yeah. Good point.
Thank you,
Boyan.
Thank you, Boyan.
Instagram.
Speaking of Boyan,
I know, right? When Boyan chimed in 2 nights ago for the Deki live stream, I don't know if you were on that one, if you were in the chat, Dean, but it was like, Boyan, no way. That's like perfect name we would want for someone from Serbia to hop on.
Yeah.
Of course, to be nitpicky, our boy, or Dean's Boyan that he covets on the Pistons, he's actually Croatian, but Croatia and Serbia right next to each other. So,
well, he could be Serbian from Croatia too.
Could be.
Like Doncic is Serbian, but he lives in Slovenia.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah, he speaks Serbian.
I thought he was Croatian. Okay.
Doncic? No, he lives in he's from Slovenia, but I believe he's Serbian. I know he speaks Serbian. Yeah, but I mean, there's all different kinds of intermingle communities all over the Balkans and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very interesting little slice of the world out there, for sure. But look at that, man. I gotta say, I think the Europeans are way better fans than we are, dude.
Right? Let me scroll this. Look at those flares. Oh,
yeah.
And then the gigantic banner. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, let's listen to this. So thank you, Boyan, out there in our chat right now. Your people are amazing, just amazing. Look at the chant. My goodness, it just goes on and on and on. And then,
what do you mean?
In the game,
they do that every game, all game.
Yeah,
that's what it's like in Europe, dude. Oh my God, yeah.
And guess the capacity of the arena. Maybe Dean, you don't know this yet. The capacity of the arena is 18,000 people. Okay, how many people went to the game? Do you know, Dean?
I hadn't heard this, so let me guess.
Let's nobody look it up. Capacity of Stark Arena in Belgrade.
Are you talking about like outside the arena? They tried to get
18K.
in.
How many people attended today for Deki? We will add a couple options.
Wait, Rich, are you talking about how many people tried to get in who were outside?
No, I'm talking about how many people actually attended.
Well, what did they add seats? People sat
Well,
on.
go ahead and vote.
But oh, okay. Well, I guess 18,000. No, I'm sure it's more than that. I'm sure it's way more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice, Iman.
Yep.
I really like that.
That's what we do here at Let's Go Warriors is we try to give a different perspective on how to be a fan. Still going at it. and we're trying to convince everybody that comes across us that the way that we look at that we follow the Warriors is the absolute best way to be a fan.
Well, you're looking at it. That's how we feel like every game.
Exactly.
Right there on the screen.
Yeah, Nicole was like, "Oh, this would be amazing to see at Chase," and I'm like, "That ain't happening."
Americans? Nah.
No.
Yeah. West Coast?
Yeah,
No
I
way.
mean, it'd be good to dream. Laurie Markkinen would be great in a Warriors uniform too. Speaking of dreams, right? I mean, like, so
he was one of the first people I saw send condolences. It was like one of the first names.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have Twitter, but I saw, little Google News or whatever. Yeah, I could be just because I follow Jazz a little bit too, but he's finished, but I'm sure Deki impacted him too as an international player. Yeah, amazing.
I think everybody already had the Googled it or something, or they had the inside knowledge. But yeah, it was 23,000 people attended.
Yeah,
and
for free.
The arena fits 18,000. So what Bojan told me was they all stand on the stairs and just snuggle with all the people. That's how you fit an extra 5,000. They're probably the standards of the fire department are maybe not as adhered to over there as here, but it's still pretty amazing. I mean, just think about it. That's pretty amazing. You squeeze 23,000 into a place that's supposed to take 18,000.
Yeah.
Or let's
it's
put
not
it
like
this
they
way,
have any flares or
18,000 seats. I think that's what that means.
Yeah.
So there's 18,000 seats.
Yeah.
They got 23,000 people in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
23,000. Man, that's nuts.
Yep. They're on their feet pretty much the whole game, I would imagine.
All right. What did Kat end up with? Oh, and here are some close-up views that I got from Partizan's Instagram account. But let's take a look at how Kat ended up. He ended up with 62 or no? Refresh. Oh, 62 points. Yep.
Wait a minute. They lost and he didn't score any more points? What are they sitting or
crazy, huh?
That's
lost by 3 to Charlotte.
Wow. That can't feel good. Man. Ugh. I think 55. What are you talking about, Nicole?
No, that's been deleted.
Oh, sorry.
What I do is I open up a
I have my bad. I have my YouTube over here. Well, he shot the last shot and it was an air ball. I mean, I bet he was kind of tired. You put in 62 points, your team shouldn't lose. But man, Rich, there are no easy games left in anywhere in the NBA, man.
I know, right?
Like anyone can beat anyone. It's this is crazy. You can't predict anything anymore. I mean, you can predict like eventually these teams will win more, but on night to night, like, oh, they should win that game. Like, no, all these teams have really good players. It's absolutely insane. I can't think of another time that's like it, really. Yeah, I think so too. They were allowed in free to that game for Deki.
Yeah, it was free. It's on the Partizan Instagram.
Yeah, beautiful, man. 23,000 people in that arena. All that money that they could have made just for $1 each or €1 each, or they don't use euros in Serbia, but whatever it is. And they decided not to do that. You know, I mean, you got to respect it. You got to respect that a lot, man. It just goes to show how deeply important Deki was there. You know, like yeah. That was one of the worst things I've heard from the NBA in a long time. Like, man, yeah. Someone on the staff dying while they're traveling with the team. I've never heard. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I've never really heard of that. God, what a horrible thing to go through. This team is really.
Nicole had asked if the vets were there today on the podium. Steve said he guesstimated there were probably 5 players there. So
I think he said there were 5 players who weren't there. Didn't he?
Who weren't there?
I think so.
I have the transcript, so let me look at it. Anything else? I looked that up.
Yeah, man, we're so lucky to have Coach Kerr do this because we've just had our teeth kicked in over and over and over again since we won that title. My God, it's been a hard half decade, really, other than winning the championship.
10-19 mark. Let's take a look.
Hey, 10-19.
This is one of those contextual answers that you look at the transcript and it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
So the 10-19 mark, which is, by the way, check it out. I got timestamps now.
Yes, sir.
Boom. Nobody else has this. Not even the Warriors themselves.
Yeah. It's great, Rich.
Okay.
You kind of just touched on something I was going to ask you, and that's
Janie McCauley.
This happened in front of you guys, and some of your young players maybe have never lost someone.
Yeah.
Maybe others, older people, haven't lost someone yet. But how do you support them with outside help if that's needed? Has there been some counseling service?
Yes.
In the building, groups, individuals.
We are making counseling available to everyone in the organization, and in particular those who were at the restaurant, and that's something that will be crucial, moving forward. Everyone processes grief a different way, and we have to attend to everybody's needs, and we will do so.
Not everybody was there.
Not everyone was there. I want to say maybe 5 players, not all the coaches, but a lot of them, and various other staff members. So I don't know what the traveling, what the total number of people who were there at dinner is, but it was a lot of people, and it's pretty terrible thing to witness.
All right. So from that, I think it's more likely that all but 5, because he said there were a lot of people. Because if it was 5, then that's not a lot of people. So just putting 2 and 2 together, I think you're right.
So that'd be 10 to 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My my family in Utah, our family friends are really close with the owners of that. I think they're at Valters probably in Salt Lake. And yeah. I haven't really been there that much, but they've been there many times. And it's right near the U of U hospital. The Coach Kerr mentions the University of Utah hospital that they went to. So this is all like, for me, I grew up there, man. Like I know all these places, and to think that every time the Warriors play in Utah now, there's going to be a little something like that. I mean, it obviously doesn't matter where it happened. It was horrible anywhere, but just hit a little close to home, Yeah. What a beautiful person though he must have been for all these people who really didn't know him or know that much about him to also be affected, much less the people who cheered for him or the people who were coached by him or anything like that. Now it's pretty hard to have an impact like that on the world, man. So yeah, I guess just thank you, Deki, man.
Also, thank you. There's a part in here. I'll see if I can find it in the timestamps, but he mentioned, first of all, here, University of Utah. I want to thank University of Utah hospital staff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a part where he talks about Rick Celebrini. Here's the part of Dario later on. But wow, Rick Celebrini apparently was a true leader.
Steve, as the coaches, kind of, you got to lead this thing, but that's obviously a personal loss for you too. Like, how did you transition, or if you did at all, from somebody who's mourning to somebody who's got to lead, and be there for your assistant coaches and your players? Like, how does that work when you're the guy everybody's going to look to lead in this situation?
I think it just comes with the territory. If you're if you're leading a group of people, and that's literally your job as a coach, then I think you automatically want to take care of everybody and look after them and make sure the right things are happening. And so I give a lot of credit to Rick Celebrini. We were all together in the restaurant that night, and Rick's one of our leaders. He's an incredible leader of men, and Rick was there every step of the way, and something that I'll never forget is seeing Rick's leadership and the way he looked after Deki and looked after everybody. Rick's an amazing human being.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
Well, kind of. Obviously, Celebrini's a doctor, and
those circumstances. That cool is the wrong word, but yeah.
Yeah, I got what you meant, and just if you have to look at it this way, he was surrounded by his team, doing what he loved, and you hope that it was a fairly quick and painless thing for him, and thank God we are the team who we are too, Forget the record. and thank God the NBA, you know, as Coach Kerr mentioned in that interview, also the Jazz and the Mavericks, you know, took a hit in their scheduling, because it was the right thing to do it, because obviously it would do that for them, of course, you know, God forbid, but I was already feeling a little tired of all the drama, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, even coming on here and having to answer the stress and negativity and all that. Not that we get it bad here because of you, Rich. You know, we're very protected, but
well, because of us, I don't know that I
yeah,
can.
but you set it up. You set it up that way.
Yeah, sure, but thanks again, everybody, for being on the chat.
Yep.
Like, golly.
Absolutely. Blue Wrenches and longtime members, and someone said they first time comment and they watch our show all the time. Watch the program.
Yeah, thanks for watching our show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for watching our show. You can see some of the detail from Monty Poole. I probably should have hit him up. Let me hit him up, see if he wants to come on. You know, it's a long shot because he works for a $1 billion cable company.
Hey, long shots is what we do, Rich.
Yeah, but I'll
Curry.
text Monty, see if he wants to hop on. Your name came up. But yeah. Hey, Shivansh, and hey, Lucky Trey. Yep. Thanks for everybody being on here. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Well, I think I was just I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but I think it was something along the lines of yeah, I remember now. I was feeling a little just tired of all of it because I watched the Memphis Grizzlies game after the chat and everything. And after, you know, seeing all the headlines and everybody talking and things like that. And I just went like, wow, that rest really helped Steph. He's looking very quick, like really quick, really sharp out there. And man, the Grizzlies just played really well. And I really had fun watching this team. And I know that if I had even been in the mindset of watching it live, like, oh, people are going to say this and that about can't even beat the Grizzlies, and it's just like, man, that's a not the most fun place to be in. I was thinking, you know, like how do I get that? I mean, I have joy every time I watch the Warriors play, but just completely doing it for fun, you know, because that's what basketball is. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. So I was already feeling that way, you know. And then getting excited halfway through the season, game number 41. Going to see Markkanen play the Dubs. What time's the game at? Pull out my phone, postponed. You know, Deki's in the hospital. And then it was morning the day of, and then a few hours later, you know, learned that he died. And it's just like, well, you know, days later, after I got over the fact that, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to take the deaths of teams you love or bands you love, things that are very, very personal and close. It's hard to take that anyway. But you know, I came to the conclusion, like, Deki was just smiling through all of it. And he was a coach on the team. So, you know, I still want to be here and defend my team and everything like that. But if we suck, oh well. Just try and get better. You know, if we're playing great, awesome. I'm so happy. I'm not worried about, we're gonna blow it, or how do we keep this thing going? Just, I don't know. I just really needed that. I hate that it happened this way. But as I was saying, I already felt that before. That just want to get back to, like, I mean, I had so much fun in 2020, you know, and I love that we won the title, but there's just that fourth title put so much strain and pressure on everybody, you know, that this past season and a half, it's not just teaching, you know, humility and or humbleness. I think it's also just teaching, you know, like, you must be patient and grateful. Otherwise, it's going to really suck. Like, it's going to be really, really bad at that point. So I've been talking for a while. Rich, I don't know if you have anything to say, if you can follow that.
Yeah.
stream of consciousness.
I did want to chime in at some point to say
Yeah.
that the one thing you hear over and over again, and where did I just hear it specifically? I think it was from Brandon Pajemski, and I got to figure out how to release that video. But there's he went back to Santa Clara because they had Brandon Pajemski jersey night, and it was the other night, I think Saturday, because it happened the same time as the Niner game. And so he went back and he did a halftime interview. We have that interview. It'll upload probably tonight. And that he again said what you would expect. He said, we're the tightest of bunches, you know, off the court.
I believe it too. Yeah.
So joyful off the court. And, you know, I mean, that starts at the top with Steph Curry's, the way that he approaches the game with joy. And you don't think that pervades throughout the room when he's there.
It should permeate everybody who loves the Warriors.
Yeah. And then who made that into a system, into an ecosystem? Steve Kerr made that like a formal structure almost.
Yeah.
And you know, they have these things that Steve said on the podium today. We have our golden hour where they go and do what you got to do for that 1 hour before we practice. Whether that means, are you the weight training type? Then go do that. Are you the shooter type and you need to put up shots? Go do that. Do what you got to do for that golden hour. They have get what you need days instead of practice. They'll have those, and it's like it's designed for the 82 game marathon, and to make it feel less of a grind. And so Brandon Pajemski says what everybody else says. Oh, you just, and Steve said it again today on the podium. You love to come to work. That was one of the things about Deki that was so amazing, was that I mean, you guys got to check out this 20-minute interview from Steve. If you really, that's again one of those special podium interviews where it just so happened to get into some Warriors culture if you just perk your ears up and listen. And what he talked about was sometimes our coaches' meetings can get very contentious. Everybody's got their own ideas. But what Deki would do is he would just kind of, and I don't even know how to I could just picture it. Like, he just kind of have that wide grin and said, don't worry about it, man, and pat you on the back, you know? And how do I know pat you on the back? Just because I have this footage of Deki in here you will see, let's wait for 3 more seconds for the commercial. You will see right about here. No, right here. Jordan Poole is having a workout with Juan Toscano Anderson and Deki, and he goes up and misses a dunk over Deki. And then what does Deki do? He pats him on the back. And it's just like, that's the type of, he's a big teddy bear,
Yeah.
But you learn so much just hearing that one snippet from Steve, like, oh, so you guys actually have contentious meetings amongst the coaches, probably like how we're a little bit contentious in the chat. Oh, you should, I'll bet you, how can they not have talked about, let's get a pet play for JK, let's do more for JK. And maybe they came to the conscious decision that, well, if we do that, then, that might make Steph, Klay, and Draymond think this or that or whatever. I think they always look under every rock, So I do think that they've considered everything. And when Steve goes up on the podium and reveals this kind of behind the scenes cultural stuff, you feel a little bit more comfortable with what we have. You're like, you know what? Our culture isn't perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect culture. Even a culture full of, artificial intelligent androids that are the most perfect X's and O's strategists, uploaded with the mindset of Eric Spoelstra and Greg Popovich combined, I guarantee you're going to find a weakness at some point. So every culture, every head coach has a weakness, and you just got to embrace your guy, because your guy is actually one of the top 5 in the league. So if you were to get rid of Steve, who are you going to get, right? And it's very parallel to Stephen Curry. It's parallel to, like, he's not the perfect player either, but we've come to embrace some of the things that, some of his faults, whether that be turnovers or what have you, not selling a call as well as LeBron might, whatever it may be, not as mean to the refs as he should be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, like, you just have to get to a point where you accept and you understand.
Yeah, just embrace the weaknesses, man. It's okay.
That's
You
the
don't have to
beauty
get
of
rid of all
humanity.
of them. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something too that I'm realizing that Kerr might be the best that I can think of at is shielding the team from the outside world.
Yes, good point.
I don't know another Popovich. I mean, they did play in San Antonio, with Kawhi.
He has his own way of shielding. Popovich does.
Yeah, but I think Kerr is,
he will make people believe that he's a mean person for if it helps shield his team, but he's really just being mean to the media, and the media tends to take it as a joke now. So they know, because they know Popovich so much better now.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Yeah, Steve is definitely awesome at shielding the team from all the outside noise.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta this is awesome right here, Bojan.
Yep.
Oh, the game ended. Fans chanted this. Oh man, this win is for Deki.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Bialic.
It's so awesome.
Bialic?
What are you doing? Looking at Bojan's name?
I think that's how you say it. Might be how you say the last name.
That's amazing. Yeah, I have no clue. If you could spell it out for us in the horrible phonetics of English. This win is for Deki. Isn't that ironic?
Beautiful.
They played the other team that he coached, Mega. Oh, and by the way, Alan Smilagic. He's in the video.
Oh, nice. Smiley.
Yeah,
My man.
he's in there. You want to see
I
him?
always like Smiley, dude. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, here he is. Smiley. Here he is. 2:14 mark. Video plays soon. We got 4 seconds. Go to Smiley YouTube. Oh, 5 more seconds.
Just some dude wearing clothes.
Smiley coming up. There he is. And then there's a nice little highlight of him way over here. Right, yeah, coming up. He's gonna pass the ball cross court. But it's cool just seeing him get some action. I think he's in the rotation, you know. Here he is. Let's go back just a little bit. Yeah, it's coming up. Anyways, Bojan. No way! His last name's almost Bielitsa. Are you kidding me? Not only is he a Bojan Dean, but his last name is 1A from Bielitsa.
Yeah.
That's great. We're calling you Belly. Bojan Belly. Yeah. Belly! All right. Belly's in here. One of the 23,000. Actually, I took some of his clips. Thank you, Bojan. This is from Bojan right here. He's up on this deck right here, and it's just cool. You should go check out his Instagram. It's a little bit different format. Obviously,
They called him Belly in elementary school. That's great.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Belly was great on this team. Definitely. Thank you for all this content.
Man.
That's great.
Belly. All right.
Wow, we won that game.
What else are we talking about? KD scored 43.
Yeah, nice. KD in the news saying he should be in the GOAT conversation, which obviously he is. I mean, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Let's rally and use it as motivation to honor Deki. Steve on the podium said that he went to Ron Adams because Ron Adams is his mentor.
Yeah.
Wise sage. And he goes, what do we do now? How do we get through this, Ron? And he goes, well, it's actually pretty simple. You just think of what would Deki want us to do? And then that's when Steve said that he pictured Deki and he pictured him smiling, laughing, and saying, you mother effers, go win a game.
Yeah, man. He would. I obviously don't know him and didn't know that much about him. You know, didn't know this much about him while he was on the team. But I can imagine him. You know, just based on his personality type. You know, laughing a little bit of like, oh, now you're gonna win for me, huh? Or just something like that guys with that type of personality would have, you know. But that's what I'm gonna really remember is that the dude is just smiling all the time, just had a voracious appetite for life, you know. That's what this team needs. It's just a lust for life. And yeah, if we play with the joy that Deki brought every day, we'll be perfectly fine. We'll be a lot better off than we have been recently.
All right, what else do we have to talk about?
The Slenderman thing. Okay.
I've got another interview that I want to upload soon, which is Steve with Tom Tolbert the afternoon before the Deki news hit. So we were still talking about Memphis that day, and there were some cultural things that came out of that as well. And the one thing I mentioned this on the last live stream is that Tolbert jokingly said that he didn't want to see another Podziemski hook shot because he's like, Steve, when is he going to make one of those? You know, I think it's time for him to put that back in the cellar. And Steve was like, well, I believe in him. I believe in him. And then he gave the story about the Klay ups, because when Klay first got into the league, you know, we had to go through the Klay up phase. I remember I actually asked Klay that. And I had no idea that Steve said, he told Tom Tolbert that it was Klay's dad that told them that they called it, somebody called it Klay ups, that he would miss the layups. And I know it was definitely on Twitter during that time.
Oh, yeah.
A bit.
No, Fitzy said it too. Once
2015. Oh, okay.
Not 2015, I think, but 13, 14, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I actually got to find the video of if I ever asked them and recorded it at the same time. But Klay wasn't. He just. I said, Klay, have you heard the term Klay ups? And he goes, yeah.
Rolls his eyes.
Kind of like he wasn't mad at me or anything. He was literally like, yeah.
I'm sure his dad told it to him every day.
So that was it, right? And so Steve, going back to why I bring this up, Steve said, hey, you guys remember Tom? You remember Klay ups? You know, so I think it's just what Steve said, that he thought it's just that young players come into the league, they don't realize how athletic the NBA is. And then they make the adjustment by year 2 or year 3. They start to make the layups, a la Klay. He started making his layups.
Yeah.
Steph as well. And so he has firm belief in Brandon Podziemski, and he doesn't mind him keeping on shooting those little hook shots.
Yeah.
And Tom Tolbert's like, but when's he gonna make one? and Steve just goes,
right time.
You know, he'll make them, and then once he makes them, he'll be consistent. So that's not Steve. He just believes in you.
You have to remember too, you know, an NBA season is 2.5 college seasons about long.
Yeah.
Right. So the amount of the amount of wear and tear that you're going through and the amount of exhaustion I imagine that you're going through, you know, is just, you can't replicate a game, and you can't replicate 82 versus 33, you know. But I haven't noticed too much Brandon Podziemski going for those hook shots, like, oh, don't, you know.
Right.
It's not like he's going to the constantly. So yeah, I bet. You know what? I'll bet. No, I won't bet. But I hope he makes one this on Wednesday. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like first shot of the game or something. You know, that'd be great.
Yeah, and so speaking on the college season being like half of an NBA season, if that, Steve was asked that on the podium a couple times ago, and I think it was after practice. I'm not sure, but Steve did mention that Podziemski might be hitting that proverbial rookie wall. So,
Yeah, but just it's totally fair, And I want to, what about TJD too with that? It doesn't seem like he's going to be a guy who's affected by that personally. I don't know why. Because he's not 20, maybe. He's like 24.
Yeah.
Serbian food, yeah, I wonder.
Wow. All right. What else we need to talk about? Look out for Atlanta. I mean, what's their record in the standings?
Trae Young had a concussion.
18-23.
Definitely.
Oh, he did? Let's look that up. Hoops Hype. HoopsHype.com, Trae Young. Let's get the latest and greatest. Have ruled Trae Young out for Monday's game against the Sacramento Kings. DeAndre Hunter's out.
Concussion protocol, yeah.
Yep. Wesley Matthews. I didn't know they had Wesley Matthews. Okay. Calf.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
that dude's still around. Awesome. There are a bunch of he was a Jazz player originally, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There are a bunch of Jazz players who just got picked off by the rest of the league. He was like an old Jazz player in every team, it seemed like, for a while. Amy, Deki has smiling eyes. My mom always used to say that. Whether someone has smiling eyes. I guess she didn't say people didn't. That's a nice phrase. Yeah. He does have smiling eyes. Absolutely. Way too good.
That's your Serbian food answer right there. LeBron out tomorrow against the Clippers. Yeah, so back to Atlanta.
Right.
Again, these teams, I mean, guess who was on fire the other night? The other Bogdanovic. Bogan Bogdanovic had a good night. Bogdan.
I think so. Bogdan.
Let's look him up. This one. Now, he was born in Belgrade. So definitely Serbian. Last 5 games. 14, 17, 12.
Nice.
I guess he had an okay
I always
game.
liked him.
Yep.
He's on the Kings.
There was an amazing clip of him working with Brian Oliver, who is a Georgia Tech alum, I believe, and showing him what he does with shooting, and that he's been able to add the elimination of the dip sometimes, so that it's just like Klay can do. You go here and then boom.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, I mean, this guy's an elite shooter. Don't let this fool you. The 1 for 6, 3 for 7. He can pop off at any moment in time. So 38.4 career, a little bit less this year. But yeah, you never know with this guy because he has hit, I think he's hit 10 in a game one time. So anybody that can, just suddenly hit 10 threes in a game, that's why people still fear Klay, They remember.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He's 31, man. Seems like he was 24 last time I looked that up. Best Serbian player of 2023 because of his contributions in the FIBA World Cup, leading his team to the final. In the World Cup final, like 3 times, and he lost them all. Well, it's still pretty impressive just making the finals. Yeah. I mean, we're so spoiled here.
It's gotta hurt. That's heartbreaking. That's very Buffalo Bills. Oh, sorry, Arbel on Twitch. I'm kidding. No, I mean it's pretty amazing just to get to the World Cup final, let alone win it.
Well, especially with teams like the U.S. and Spain,
France.
Argentina, France. Yeah, it's very impressive. I mean, Serbia has 10 million people. I mean, it's really, really impressive. Yeah.
Oh, any team with Jokic on it is going to be a gold medal contender, and so Jokic will make Serbia a potential gold medal contender this summer, no doubt in my mind.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
They also got the who's their point guard, Bojan? You guys have a point guard that didn't get picked up by any NBA team, and yet his World Cup, I watched a couple games. He should be in the NBA. Maybe he is in the NBA. I could have sworn I saw him on Partizan in the starting lineup thing today, but Serbia point guard. I'd know the name if I saw it, and it's not Teodosic. He's more of the legend type. I mean, literally.
Yeah, you're right.
Serbia's 7 million. Geez.
Yeah, so that's you guys have, I think, a little bit less people than New York, and you're putting out teams that are making the finals. That's insane. I guess you guys like basketball.
Is it New York at 10 million? I don't know.
No, it's at New York City. The 5 boroughs is about 8.
Wow.
Almost 9 million. LA County is just a little under 10. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. Stefanovic? No, that's not it. Oh, maybe he was on another team. My bad. No, I can't remember.
Thank you, Swaggy. Very nice. Says big fan of the channel and the Warriors. Keep up the great work.
Oh,
Nicole's feeling that the Kings are going to let go of Barnes. Yeah, well, I guess there have been.
I mean, Zagars is a baller. Yeah, this guy.
For Lithuania.
That's random. Latvia,
right. Wow.
So that's not the guy that was on Partizan today. Not the same guy. Oh, well.
Yeah, crazy. My mom went through Belgrade when it was during the Cold War, when it was part of Yugoslavia. I don't know. I forget why she was going out there, but yeah, she went through Yugoslavia.
Oh,
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, on a train.
Yeah. Oh, wow. My mom's done some train riding. She loves trains, so she's taken tons and tons of trains everywhere. Yeah. Whatever country it is, she's probably been on it.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Trains are great, man. They're so nice.
She's even been on a train like, some remote country, Bangladesh or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where it was literally dangerous. Like like people were like, what were you doing? What were you thinking? Like, you don't do that. Don't do that again. Obviously, I heard that and I'm like, Mom, but then what are you going to do? That's in the past.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. So she's been on some crazy trains.
All aboard!
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Definitely the addiction to trains right there.
She's not a train spotter. She's a train rider.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, they turned it over to the Kings and the Hawks, and Kings are up by 21.
Oh, okay.
End of the third.
They've been needing to bounce back, it seems. They've had a little.
They lost 4 straight at one point.
Yeah, wow. Crazy. Yeah,
the NBA is crazy.
Yeah, the West is crazy, man.
the
Oh
South,
my god.
you're going to go on some losing streaks.
Yeah. Sheesh. Yeah.
So yeah, I go back to when you were talking about how you were getting a little tired of having to deal with the whiners and complainers. Yeah, that's I feel like that's one of the sacrifices Deki made right here was to give us all a break from all that toxicity, and maybe now we can go into the next game and just enjoy the game rather than having all these.
Oh, I'm gonna cheer my ass off, man. I don't really care what happens. I'm just gonna have fun.
Right. Exactly.
Really miss them. It's the middle of the season. Why am I going a week without them? It's not All-Star break yet. And I'm like trained. You know, if it's the week and I was supposed to start school today, but there's a strike because plenty of reasons. So I thought I was going to have the Warriors and school coming up, but now it's kind of cool, you know. I'm not upset about it, but it's just like not having either of those things in your life, like it just, I guess, you know, absence really does make the heart grow fonder, right? I mean, it really does. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Rich, but I totally agree. Like, let's have fun. Please, let's just have fun. Let's just have fun, you know?
Wednesday
at 7, was it? Normal?
Yeah. So next live, 6:45 p.m. Pacific for ATL GSW. 7 p.m. tip off.
Get a look at Dejounte Murray, you would assume.
Right.
Unless there's a trade, but
yeah. Also, the whole thing about, you know, it's pretty quiet on the Warriors front right now, and somebody just hopped on a little bit late, and I said, "Oh, you missed it when Brett Siegel was on here." Doesn't look like
that.
Yeah. But like it could change. It could change tomorrow. You never know, and it might not even be driven by Dunleavy. He could get a phone call from who knows, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that's where, you know, let's be wary of our addiction to predicting things.
Well, I like the way you've handled this, Rich. If I may, I like that you're talking about targets and different players, and we're not saying who we want. Just like, is this reasonable? What could we be looking at? No, I think that's actually a lot more fun. I like putting, as Rich knows, I like trying to put together little trade ideas, but you know, we can't control what the front office is going to do. So trying to make a prediction on what they will do is not as fun as looking at sort of who's available, what the archetype is that we're looking for. So I've really been appreciative of that. It's a really, really solid way to handle it. Amy's hoping for wins the next game. Yeah, me too. Oh, it's 10 for you? Yeah, crazy.
Did they move it back? Wait. 10. Wait a minute. Oddly, my Google Calendar says 10:45 p.m. and that can't be. So let's just go to NBA.com.
And 7 here.
Yeah, that's weird.
7 p.m.
NBA.com Warriors schedule.
Oh, I think she's in Miami, right? That's 3 hours ahead. Wait.
Either my phone listened to Nicole, or I don't know why, but my Google Calendar, which is tied into the Warriors, you know, you go here, you go add to calendar on this. Let me show you. If you go add to calendar, you'll have what I have. Yeah, 7 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah.
I don't know why it went to 10:45 over there, but whatever.
Yeah, who knows? Just throwing you all over the continent, Rich. Ted Lasso. My parents kept bringing that up. They're like, "Oh, you guys are like Ted Lasso." It's like, no, Ted Lasso's like us. Thanks.
Yeah. But you're like Coach Beard, man, because you got the beard.
I got the what?
Yeah, that's funny.
Very cool.
All right.
That's like putting a puzzle together. Yeah, man. It's fun. It's fun to try and do that. 2 p.m. Thursday in Sydney, Australia. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Dub Nation all over the world.
5 a.m. in Serbia.
Yep.
Miami.
Cool.
How's the weather?
Probably hot and humid, I guess. It's been raining a lot here. What about you?
Yeah. Raining. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we got to stay on for 10 more minutes. We're almost to 2 hours. So what are you going to do? So yeah, going back to the, are we going to trade anybody? Yada, yada, yada. Like probably not in the next couple days in terms of like, even Wiggins isn't really like right now, like we're just, we just got to play basketball again. Doesn't matter who's available or, it's literally not a must win. It's not a must win. The must thing is to just go do it. Just go honor the schedule.
Yeah.
And honor Deki. That's what you must do. As far as the result, who cares?
It's a must play. Yeah.
Play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really to honor Deki, because Deki would want you to play. He would say, just go play. And without the business of basketball, then there wouldn't be a need for anyone to have that vision of Deki telling you to just go play. But it's on the schedule, and we don't want to ruin the Hawks schedule by postponing that. And so now it's just kind of like, what would Deki want us to do? We just go play the game. Just play. Hopefully win, but it's like, of course, you want to
have a chance. Yeah, have a chance for Dub Nation also to be part of that tribute video, because it affects you whenever you hear someone you've been watching, even if they're just standing behind Coach Kerr or whatever, just knowing that they're around the team. It affects you hearing that they've died, So I think it'll help Dub Nation, at least the people in the arena, kind of. And there have been beautiful tributes from all over the league. I saw the Lakers and Jazz. Both did some tributes. So, have that empty seat with a spotlight on it for a little bit, and get that public grieving out together, and then honor, forget about the death, honor the 46 years of what he was like as a man, and as a basketball player. And you can tell it was just full of joy, like not like Klay Thompson or Steph Curry joy of like Kobe called him, kind of quiet assassin type, but like this dude was like Magic Johnson, just just beaming, it seemed like, all the time, smiling all the time. And I think you try and figure out how to make basketball not remind you of his death, but of his life. I think that's the biggest thing for the team right now. That's what I would recommend to him, at least.
Look at that. Number 13 should be retired. Wow. Man, it's like Serbian fans, they get it, It's like, oh man, you guys get it. Like, it's mad respect out here from America, where we got to deal with some types of fans that kind of don't get it sometimes. So thus far, everything
they do have a bit of hooliganism out there, I think, too. In the wrong crowd.
Oh, there's
really have that.
Fanatical ones too out there, and lighting the flares out there in the stands. I mean, tonight it was part of the show, but I've seen some flares
a
out
lot.
there that it doesn't seem like those were allowed, but I don't know. Maybe you can tell us, Leon, are flares generally allowed or not? And do you normally have them? But the outdoors one that Smiley also played in, the outdoors one where they had the flares and like it was practically lighting up the court. Like that was the lighting for the court, was the flares around dusk, around the time when the sun was setting, and it was just an incredible spectacle from that one. That's insane. Like that, you can pull that off in Serbia. I don't know that you can do that here. Like, would we really,
No, I think the fire codes alone just, wouldn't even be allowed, man. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Jasmine checking in. I might be in Dallas, actually, in April. Not for anything Warriors. And we'll see how that turns out. Flares are not allowed at all. Of course, they smuggled them in.
Yeah.
There's Bojan telling us the real deal.
That's a little bit.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Just like those, you remember in the World Cup in South Africa, those incredibly loud, what were they called? They were horns. I forgot what they were called. But those were banned too, and it didn't matter. They were everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, you old world sports fans are crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the standings real quick. Not that it really matters for us right now. We just need to win a few games. And by the way, just like Tom Tolbert said on the air with Steve Kerr, what it was, 3, 4, 5 days ago. Let's just A, win a game, B, get back to 500, and then we'll worry about, the season. So couple, just stay focused on the next game, just try to win a couple, see if you can get back to 500, and then baby steps.
Yeah.
We have even more baby steps than that, like we just said in the chat. Just show up for the game and get through the game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Give yourself space. That's the thing.
Well, the first one's going to be the hardest too.
Absolutely.
The first quarter is going to be the hardest. So you understand that, and no matter what the outcome is, just just get through the first quarter, no matter what happens, and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Let basketball be what it's always been for these guys, I'm sure, which is really kind of their escape. Actually playing.
I'm still a little, it's going to be, maybe our guy Austin Scott will be there from KNBR.
Yeah, I hope so.
I reached out to him today to try and find out if he'll be there. But by the way, I should check and see if Monty got back to me, shouldn't I? Just not leave him there. I think he got back to me. Okay. So maybe we can get Austin Scott maybe right after, because Draymond is the last guy. And then there's like some dead time, but Austin will probably, I don't know what his work process is. He might need to tweet out some KNBR tweets or what have you, but it'd be pretty cool to get him on right away if he goes to the game to just, and I'll try different people that I know, because I think it's important to get some feedback on how our squad dealt with pregame, because I'm concerned about that, because pregame is where Dejan was there being the post-up defender against Looney, as Looney did his little mic and drill, okay?
Yeah.
And he's not going to be there, and, Looney's going to miss his presence, and that's going to be a tough thing emotionally. And then not just that, but also you've seen the pictures of Deki with the laptop, Jonathan Kuminga sitting right next to him, and they're going over game film, and it's not going to be Deki this time. And I'm like, man, if I were Steve, and this is not like, I'm not nitpicking or anything, I'm just saying, here's an idea.
Yeah, sure.
Do a walkthrough, like tomorrow night, Tuesday night, hey everybody, get in your gear that you would wear in a pregame, and let's just go through the pregame one time because Deki won't be there. So let's get used to that and let our emotions all come out here rather than the whole public to see that. But I don't know. That's just an idea of mine. But whether they do it or not, regardless, I think the pregame could be an emotional one.
Oh, it will be. It should be. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only normal. It's healthy, very human thing. Definitely.
All right, we're about to hit the 2-hour mark.
Always.
10 more seconds. Oh, thank you, Amy. Look at that. Appreciate you. Oh, Jasmine almost went to the Mavs Celtics game. Yeah, you know what, Jasmine? I don't know if you've been to the Dallas Arena, American Airlines Arena, but yeah, if you go into American Airlines Arena tired, you might walk out like, a zombie, because that place is rocking.
Sleepwalk out.
That is a place to watch a game, man. American Airlines Arena. It's not the most modern arena, but it's special. It's just got its own character. And so that's the one thing I love about the Dallas Arena is that the team hotel, I've said this before, is like within walking distance. And the team hotel, the Crescent, is like oddly accessible. But they already set up a line. There's, a tape on the concrete where you can stand as a fan to try and get the autographs as they go to the bus. So they already know that. But like, it's just like you walk through the lobby and you go, oh, there's Steve and there's Chris DeMarco. You see coaches here and there meeting with other people because they got to meet other people that are, cross paths with and all of that. So Dallas is one of those away games that every Warrior fan should go check out. And then the walk to the arena, and then the arena, it's nice. It's in a nice place, and the brick, and it's just nice.
I think one of the last live streams that you did while you were traveling with the team was in Dallas, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was Dallas and then New Orleans because I already had those booked.
Yeah.
So I went along with it and I just did those. But yeah, after that, it's like, all right. First, it was taking a break from it, and then I decided while taking the break and while really being on here with you, Dean, and you, Amy, and whoever else was still with us back then as a regular. Yeah. Thank you to all of those people because it really helped me make the right decision, at least for my physical and mental well-being, in terms of not having to drag my body around to go to games and rely on that too much, even though that's how Go Warriors started. But
the live streams were great back then because you do post games and stuff. But hearing you do play-by-play and halftime adjustments and all that type of stuff live, and being able to ask you questions more easily, it's just been great, And obviously, it helped me a lot. But I really appreciate that, that you took that, because that's a bit of a leap of faith, I'm really appreciative that you did that, Rich.
Yeah, and I'm typing this right now. I'm giving Jasmine some advice that if you can stay at the Crescent Court Hotel, go ahead and stay there, because you might run into Klay just walking to the park, as I did. I was in the Starbucks and I look out and there's Klay walking back from the park. How do I know he was at the park? Because he Instagrammed it 10 minutes before that. He probably shouldn't do that, but he did that.
Oh, Klay. Klay's happy-go-lucky.
Ralph Walker at the time. Well, Ralph isn't on Instagram, but whoever was with security at the time was probably like, "Oh, Klay, man, you can't expose yourself like that, man." But Nah,
It's the scaffolding,
yeah,
dude.
it's funny just to go to the park, go for a walk.
Good old Klay.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
Of course, he just walked out the hotel and went to the park. Didn't even
exactly.
think about it. Yeah, I love that dude, man. Yeah, good old Klay.
All right. Oh, you've gone to Celtics Suns. Yeah. I don't like Phoenix that much in terms of just the neighborhood over there. A lot of businesses left. So it's a pretty sketchy neighborhood right there, right by the stadium. The worst though is still United Center on the outskirts of Chicago, like we talked about.
That is on the west side of Chicago, yeah.
That
I
is,
don't care though. I love Chicago.
that is pure. Not only is it freezing, but it feels like you better get an Uber quick, that kind of thing in Chicago. But yeah, unfortunately, Phoenix downtown has been a little deserted, and
really?
a bit run down a little bit. I mean, but at the same time, Chase Center isn't all that exciting. You know, I would put Dallas ahead of Chase Center just because of Team Hotel being right there. And I mean, Chase Center has a couple things around it, but not a whole lot.
It's not really in the heart of San Francisco. It's kind of
it just depends which city. So I'm not here to, trash Phoenix or trash San Francisco. They're all different, but it just so happens.
What did you think about the Delta Center, Rich? I gotta ask.
Oh yeah, I like it. I like it because you just go a little bit ways more, and then you'll hit like that main street of downtown.
Yeah,
with a lot of good shops and whatever. A couple churches.
Yeah. Oh, there's the temple right there. Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. So that's nice.
Mormon temple, I mean. Yeah.
It reminds me of like Charlotte. Now Charlotte has a mall right by the arena, and the team hotel is right by the arena. So they'll all gather because it's Charlotte, Steph's hometown.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what's this crowd like randomly in the middle of Charlotte? Well, they're there for Steph.
They're all Steph's friends.
So it's a bit of a spectacle, and you can go across the street, go up the stairs, and kind of get the full view of the whole thing, and just kind of enjoy the crowd anticipating Steph walking to the team bus. And of course, they love Klay. Everywhere they love Klay.
Yep.
So there's always cheers for both of them. So Charlotte's kind of neat. Yeah, it's kind of neat. The cool thing about Charlotte is when you walk to the arena, they have their practice facility right there, and it's like they let you see inside, like the court, like that was built on purpose so that you could see inside to see them practicing and stuff.
Oh, very cool.
So, you might see a Plumlee, 3 hours before the game, moving around by himself. Yeah, so Charlotte, I guess, is pretty good in terms of that. The spectacle.
Michael Jordan wanted to give him the public pressure to perform.
I know, right?
Yeah, everybody's gonna watch you. Okay.
You better take practices and free games like I
did.
did.
Everybody's gonna see if you're not at practice. You're right. I kind of like that actually. That's pretty cool. Warriors practice facilities underneath Chase Center, right?
Right.
Underground. Yeah.
No chance of seeing that.
Yeah.
Unless you snuck in and you passed by the security room and you saw a little thing.
Yeah, it'd be breaking and entering rather than just walking.
Yeah. You could break and enter. And no, I think
no, we're not.
It was probably a guest that day, but they used to have so many guests that and then they've kind of shut that down. So even if you're a guest, it's like, nah, we'd rather you just not be a guest. But yeah, lately I noticed that there's been a couple. The guy on Instagram, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. Go check GP2's Instagram. I think it's on there, but there's like behind the scenes footage of him, and I'm like, how the hell did they get in on that one? It turns out the guy that filmed that is a friend of Jordan Poole's guy, Jordan Jimenez. So if you're in like that with a player, be it Jordan Poole or in this case GP2, you will get that access, but you're still not going to get access to the upstairs tape room. Heck no, they're not going to let you up there where I'm sure that's
especially
where they got the Draymond punching JP.
yeah. Oh my God, man, oh man, what a team. There's been a lot. There's been a lot to deal with, Rich.
And then there was another one.
Fake Klay. He got on the court. He didn't get in the practice arena, but he got out there during the finals. That was crazy. That was a crazy story too. You remember that, Rich?
No.
Fake Klay got on the court.
Right. you can. Yeah, that's on YouTube. Yeah. Poor guy got
banned for life.
Yeah,
I get it because like you can't do that, especially during the finals.
What about the dude that did the haircut courtside, but then he got banned for sleeping courtside in his seat and making it a spectacle? You remember that guy, the comedian guy?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I thought that was kind of harsh. Like, he bought the ticket, or maybe they found out that he didn't buy the ticket. I don't know. Like, oh, you're getting freebies into the court anyway, so we'll just ban you. I get that, but if he paid a couple thousand, I think
he was. I think they said basically he was it wasn't just a prank. He was filming it like for his channel or whatever. So he was using the game to advertise for himself without the Warriors' permission, and that obviously is not. I mean, you can do it if you're wearing.
Not the Warriors, not fake Klay, the guy that the guy I'm talking about.
The sleeping guy.
Yeah, that wasn't with the Warriors though. That was with another
No,
team.
oh yeah, well, wherever he did it, I think that's why they said. I mean, I kind of remember the explanation. I think it was something like that, but I could be wrong. But I mean, I get that. And also, you just kind of like, they don't kick people out for falling asleep at games, which happens.
Yeah,
they're doing it because it's not disrespectful. It's just
that was a thing a couple times on in Warriors Instagram, not official Warriors, just Warriors fans. That like more than twice they caught somebody sleeping in the baseline rows. So everybody laughed.
What?
But it wasn't a big thing.
They what them?
This guy fell asleep in the baseline, like fourth or fifth row or sixth, seventh row or whatever, and they filmed them. Somebody filmed.
Oh yeah.
They had a good laugh.
Well, those are the expensive tickets, so why stay awake, huh?
I know, right? Real quick, gotta just say that Bojan is saying that players. So the ABA league, the domestic league, where partisan players will change the name of the MVP to Dejan Milojevic MVP. Oh, that's cool.
I gotta say, it sounds like this is a bit like Kobe's death for us, for a lot of Balkan players, and for the Balkan, and obviously for the Warriors players and everything. But just the height of the basketball respect seems like that for the Balkans a lot.
Yep.
Because obviously we didn't really know that much about him as a player, unfortunately. Out here. But well, you wish it wouldn't have taken this for everybody to know how great of a guy he was and how great of a basketball player he was. And they say give people their flowers while they're alive, So but get to try and play now with Deki's spirit each game. The spirit that he lived by each game, and painful as that might be, what a great example to have, what a great example to follow. I think most people thrive on anger at work too. I do a little bit, not towards other people, but just like trying to get through the work.
Oh yeah,
It's easier to be like, oh, like, fine, I'm going to do it now, rather than like really being happy. I don't understand how he just seemed happy all the time. Maybe it's because he was born in 1977 in Yugoslavia, and obviously, you know, that was not an easy place to be born in by the 90s when he was a young man. So probably has that perspective. But
yeah, he
Yeah.
certainly had the ability to keep that perspective all the time. So kudos to him. All right.
35, 14, and 3. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And he was an undersized big one. He was what, 6'6"?
Where did I hear that? Somebody said that he's the Charles Barkley of Europe.
Sounds like the Draymond Green to me. How many titles? He won 3 titles? Yeah. Sounds a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, Draymond Green Game 7, 2016 and Game 7, 2014. Because Draymond's not usually scoring 35. I didn't want to end on an argument about semantics.
It's because Charles Barkley doesn't have any rings.
Oh, gotcha. But if you wanted to see some highlights of Deki, it's right in here.
Yes, sir.
There's the Jumbotron. Let me pull that up right here and then pull that up right here. And then skip the ad and it'll go right into the Jumbotron. And they've got, you know, highlights. And I had to change the background music, which you can't hear, obviously. But yeah, look at those highlights, man.
Yeah.
Beast down low.
Just the footwork, man.
Yeah. And the determination, the toughness, the width. You know, you got to be wide down there.
Yeah, he's always a big dude. I saw a photo of him with his.
Look pretty nimble right there, right?
Yeah.
Very wide and yet nimble guy that could get in the lane and finish like that.
Gee, I wonder how he ever could have helped Jokic.
Move that a little bit. All right. So
hey, forever champ, forever a warrior. Forever.
Yep. All right. Ready to call it a night?
Just one more thing on the trade front.
Okay.
We are a little tight money-wise, but we have a superstar, like all-time superstar. That's something that most teams don't have. We have a lot of really great, championship proven veterans, some really high prospect, lottery picks who are just barely turning 21. Two unbelievably productive rookies. Like probably, it's hard to imagine at least one of them not making an all rookie team, and a bunch of, you got the CP3 contract, and sounds like the team is admitting that Wiggins is more likely to be moved than not. Maybe. You never know what kind of deal it is, but Wiggins, man, don't let people lowball you in Wiggins. Like he's a lot better player than we've been seeing recently, and he was the second best player in the finals, not on the team, in the finals in 2022, which is, obviously it's Steph and everything everybody else did, but he's still a very valuable player, and we have very valuable draft picks. So thank God we do have the assets to be able to make a deal, and if not, we don't absolutely have to. We just have to try something else and try and get everybody together at the same time. So this team is not in a hopeless situation where you don't even have assets to get anything back to put around Steph. So keep your head up and whatever happens, this team should improve. They should improve in the basketball sense. But for now, just get back to having joy. Really, seriously, like, really feeling the joy of basketball and enjoy Steph, man. Enjoy Steph, Klay, and Dray being coached by Coach Kerr. It's, I know I always say it, but it really is true because obviously time passes quite quickly.
Are you on LinkedIn at all? Threw that out there in the chat.
No.
I've been told it might be good to be on LinkedIn.
For what?
I know that we can stream this on LinkedIn.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Job site?
Yeah. I guess it's a job related type thing, but so they just ejected the Hawks coach. Who's the Hawks coach?
It's Quinn Snyder.
Quinn Snyder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So they just ejected him, but there's only 36 seconds left, and Kings are going to win by 12 or so.
Okay.
But yeah, so back to LinkedIn. I don't know. I know a guy that has amassed like a million followers on LinkedIn and has become inspirational. Like he didn't used to have a job. He got a job, and then now he's on LinkedIn inspiring people on how to get their next job. And whether that's, just self-love and confidence of all things, or what, just inspiring motivation. And I thought that's kind of what we do, not from a job perspective, but just to kind of, keep things positive and the way that the Warriors are getting out of their funk can be applied to how you get out of your funk if you're having trouble in between jobs or something, stuff of that nature. So I thought maybe should go in there. Steph Curry's on LinkedIn. Yeah. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Professional. Hey, look at Siobhan say this. That's interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
Huh. What? Has it? That's a shock.
No, not is it really?
I had no idea.
Not to me.
Well, anyway.
Meeting online.
Professional version of Twitter walking on the thin line separating LinkedIn. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I mean, we might find more people who will, act professionally when it comes to the Warriors. If we
That's interesting.
Get them on here, maybe,
Have you done anything on Threads, Rich? Or
that's the next question too.
Yeah.
But I kind of have an idea of what to do on Threads, whereas LinkedIn, I have no idea. I don't even have the app yet. I don't have LinkedIn, the app. I always use the website to look up people. And then the other thing that my friend was saying was, oh, by the way, a lot of the Golden State Warriors staff people are on there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That if they came across Let's Go Warrior, you never know, it might lead to something. You never know.
Yeah, very cool.
But at least it would be good to have like Golden State Warriors people in the chat in terms of like, hey, they're actually doing it right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dean Agon says he knows someone getting hit on. Oh my gosh. Steve Nash is on there. His profile is quite something, really? Okay. Oh yeah, so back to Threads.
Yeah.
The only reason why I don't tweet is because of the replies, and you're always going to get a reply from somebody mad about something or outraged about something. Needs to be right. That's the problem with Twitter. So I never tweet. So I was thinking actually And if I had more time to think about it, we might have started tonight, but maybe we'll have to wait till Wednesday, is to kind of put the best comments out on Threads just to share that. Like, that's part of the conversation.
You have that whole book of comments still. Yeah.
The whole what?
You have that whole book of different comments, right?
Oh yeah, that was that's still going to be part of what I give to media members as we strengthen the bonds between them going forward.
Very
Still
cool.
have those little booklets for them.
Yeah, that's great.
But as far as doing Threads, I think I would do it only in terms of promoting this live. Like, that would be the main thing.
Yeah.
And then even before I do Threads or LinkedIn, I think I owe it to our website people, to our paid subscribers. We have some people on here who are paid subscribers just because they just donate a little something. It's not like, oh, you're the Athletic and you're going to have sources and stuff. And even though I try, in fact, I'm planning to meet Dustin Van Loo tomorrow. We'll see. But, Pajemski's trainer, and then I'll get another update on everything. There's some things regarding Pajemski, not major things, just tiny little gems here and there that I haven't told yet, is just through conversation with Dustin Van Loo since 2 months ago, and we can put that in an article. But I was going to say this: our paid subscribers are people that donate to this website, basically the $5 a month. I still have to get into the grind of the more instantaneous updates. And so open up the Discord, because I put all my notes, all my thoughts really go on the Discord channel. And some of the channels, I should say, go onto the Discord server. That's the official name. The different channels, I have like a private channel where I put my thoughts on there and I just follow everything. And then we already have set up a channel for every player. It's similar to what we have on Instagram, where there's different highlight sections, the highlights. So it's grouped by player, and all you got to do is go to the player, and then you'll get the latest. I mean, there's things like Lester Quinones went with his trainer to go do a workout last night at Chase Center. So you would see that.
Yeah.
That's not something you write an article about. It's more Twitter-like. If Twitter hadn't turned into hell or the zombie apocalypse, or if they just acted like they weren't entitled to every morsel of information, but the moment you act entitled on that, then you're outraged and everything. I just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So the one place, I think, the one community that we have that deserves to hear that are really the people that support the website.
Please go check out the website. There are free aspects to it as well. Obviously, sign up.
We had Dean come up with the marketing trade that I asked Dean to come up with something, and he came up with something that's free. Like this, people can read this for free. So there are good.
Go check it out. Also, you guys have absolutely no idea how good you have it. If this is the first basketball team that you're following. I've been following the league for a long time, and Rich, this channel is amazing, man. I mean, we did 2.5 hours here. Looks like of no throwing anyone under the bus, no ridiculous rumors or, I mean, yeah, you guys just realize how good you have it here. Please try and understand what it'd be like if you had to follow the Warriors without Let's Go Warriors. I mean, I don't know what I would do on game day. I really don't even know what I would do.
I know.
I'm not just saying that because I'm on here. That's going back to 2020 when I first really started following into one of the worst years in the Warriors history. When I started getting on this channel constantly, and just, yeah, it's awesome, Rich. You're killing it, man.
Oh yeah, but also it's very much a two-way street. Like, some days, let me put it this way: like today was a very busy day. Like, I think the first morsel of news was Moody and GP2 having their reevaluations coming up in a week and 2 weeks, respectively.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Kerr got on the podium, or there was some scenes from practice, and then it got really busy. Like, I'm not even done yet. Like, I haven't transcribed the Looney article. I don't even know what he said, even though I have the video, and the video's late because I did this. But there's still nothing I would rather change. Just the fact that, and it was cool to see earlier, I've got Nicole and Arbel on Instagram DMs. And so they were like, "Oh, are you going live?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're going live, and we got Brett Siegel of Clutch Points coming on." So they were really excited. And it was like, yeah, it's really cool. It's like us all meeting up, virtually at the virtual, Starbucks to go talk about the Warriors. So here we are. And it's pretty cool to be able to do that. Like, you guys are literally, I just look at everybody on here as my friends. Like, we're getting together, we're going to go meet up, and we know that there's no big argument going to break out. There's no throwing anybody under the bus, and nobody's going to leave this gathering feeling worse than when they came in. If anything, they'll feel better.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that's where it's two-way streets, not even it. It's really we're at the Starbucks cafe right now. And
yes, sir.
Awesome. Because honestly, like all my good friends from back in college, they're all scattered. They moved out of the Bay. It's all of them. Like, it just, life called out to them, and they had to, whatever it was, go work for their parents' company, usually is what the case was. Or like my other buddies, remember, I keep giving the KD example. Those guys moved to New York because they were excited by New York and they had a new opportunity. That's why, precisely the reason I don't have any problem when KD left. He left for New York with his buddy Kyrie. That totally reminds me of Yosh and his buddy that we used to hang out all the time. They'd done everything in the Bay Area. I said this story before. They already dated every kind of lady you could date out here in the Bay. There's the different types. The one that lives in the marina, the one that, et cetera, et cetera. The financial district type, the blah, 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 the party type. So they checked off all the boxes because, San Francisco and the Bay Area, it isn't really that big. So then you go, New York, so I think I understood that part of KD going to Brooklyn a lot more than the average fan, just because of personal experience. So to just rope it back in, it's just like,
well, he got shocked by the media too.
Yeah,
we got Jacobied a little bit.
Yeah,
prodding. You guys gonna break up? You break up? Prove it. Yeah. Oh, why'd they break up? Oh, you did that? No? Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, Rich. Keep going.
Oh yeah, no worries. So anyways, just catching up on another thing.
Thank you,
It was
Bojan.
very chill here. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Thank
You would be surprised, Shivansh, man.
thank you all for being here because it really does. It's really cool to just like it. This is a safe place. I literally feel safer here than okay, certain family members, which I won't throw under the bus like I do every single time.
Yeah, it's safer here than at the bank, man. You know,
What was that?
it's safer here than at the bank. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't have any security guards on you.
The funniest thing, literally, I just had that thought like right before I went live because I went to grab some takeout at the local restaurant over here, and across the street is a bank adjacent, and next to them is like this clothing store. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a clothing exchange store, very higher end type deal.
Yeah.
They always have 2 security guards. And I literally walk by every time and, you know, they're taking a look at me, making sure I'm not going to storm the building or something. I don't know.
That's
But,
the clothing store you're talking about.
2 armed guards right outside. So they must have had a lot of smash and grab thefts at some point. I don't know. And
Maybe people were trying to get to the bank through their building or something, you know?
No, the bank is on the other side of the street.
Oh, really? So
Anyways, I always thought that was ironic in that the bank doesn't even have, you know, that obviously you'd be insane to try and rob a bank. And then as it is a federal crime.
Yeah.
And this one store, this clothing store of some type, has these 2 armed guards. And I literally thought at that moment, I'm going, what is this, a bank? And then you just brought it up.
Yeah.
You just brought up it's safer than a bank.
But you're right, man. It does feel safer here than you know, sometimes even texting about things with with, you know, your friends and stuff. And that's fine.
Absolutely.
People disagree, but it's great to have this community. I think we should look into doing what I mentioned this a little while back. I'm sure we could do a members only live chat at some point. Where not members, subscribers live chat where you have to be subscribed to the channel for 3 days. I think it was. I know that's available or was available on YouTube.
I'll look into that. Yeah, that would definitely encourage more people to subscribe, wouldn't it?
Not every game, yeah, but just, you know.
Oh yeah. Wait till we get I don't know, Monty Pool.
Yeah, Monty Pool Nuggets. Boom. You know. That'd be cool. Yeah.
You mean gems? We're not using Nuggets anymore, obviously.
Gems. That's the Lakers.
Standings. Oh, gems? Gems are Lakers? No. They don't
the Detroit Gems became the Minneapolis Lakers.
Shut up. Okay.
Yep.
Well, luckily, not everyone is a walking encyclopedia like you guys. Like you.
It's a better name for LA, though, really, isn't it? I get LA Lakers, but
anyways, you know,
lakes.
We're not going to get Nuggets from Monty Pool. We're going to get little gems because Nuggets is right here on the standings. We can't.
That's what I was talking about. A Nuggets game.
Oh, a Nuggets game. Okay.
Yeah. A big game.
Monty Pool would give us little nuggets of information, but you were actually talking about the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Not my favorite word. It's something about Nuggets.
What's the connection between Monty Pool and the Nuggets? Or are you just randomly?
It was just a big game. Have Monty Pool on Nuggets versus the Nuggets. Not Monty Pool.
No, Monty Pool during the regular season is like next to impossible. I might as well try to get Barack Obama.
If you can, do it.
He's under contract, you know. He's got the $1 billion cable company. I know I gave it a try. I texted Monty just half an hour ago, but it didn't work. But it's understandable. In general, we're probably not going to get Monty during the regular season. So I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe the off season. Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, that's a good idea. The subscriber thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do it on your end, Rich.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Although, could you do it through StreamYard? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, good question.
Either way, something to look into at least.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's pull that one back up, which is the next live. And while we're at it, so Wednesday, everybody, we'll see you guys Wednesday.
I should be available.
45. Oh, you're available? Nice.
Yes,
All right. And we'll do this, and then we'll go to just us.
Oh, let's do the Deki stuff some more, the partisan stuff. Feel like it?
Yeah, we could go to the end of their tribute.
Yeah.
Actually, it's right here. Let's just stick with this. And we'll end with Deki, and then we'll log off, and then we'll see you guys Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Us.
Please like, subscribe on your way out.
Meni je žao što se poslije utakmice Partizana igrao bez prisustva mojih navijača. Ne znam, ja sam samo sve za Partizanu, 2 godine sam imao veliku podršku, ja se stvarno zahvaljujem od srca i nadam se da ovo više moje posljednje koje Partizana sam možda nekad igrati.